Hello everyone, coming at you with a follow-up on the hip dump. And as you can see there, the athlete has moved to this inside ski. And we're going to take a slow-mo look at this. Here he's in a great position to enter the next turn. And then he shifts and moves his downhill side forward and twists his hips away, opening up his ankle. Unfortunately, that takes pressure off that outside ski for a moment, and it's just a little slow to respond. Again, in a great spot here, facing the right direction, outside hip comes back, inside hip moves forward and across his skis, and his hips have turned away, and he's lost pressure on his outside ski because his ankle's opened up, and the ski's just a little slow to respond. Here we see it in this athlete, a little bit more subtle, but it's still going on. There's an extension, hips move across the hip skis, and the downhill hip moves forward. And again, extend, downhill hip moves forward, outside ski starts to run away from him because he's on the inside ski, and he has to wait for the pressure to build up. Now we're looking at some athletes doing a drill with pulls on their hips to heighten their awareness on how their hips are moving through the transition before we take a deeper dive into this drill. What we saw was this kind of movement. To go that way to create edge, or going the other way, this kind of movement through the transition. And what we want to focus on is if this is my uphill side, this is my uphill foot, that's the next gait, this motion with the lower leg is the engagement to the ski. We don't want to be going from these two edges and moving our hip this way. And notice if you're looking at my hip is pointed this way. This is downhill. This kind of motion. Because the moment that occurs, I lose pressure from the front of this boot. And it's critical you keep this part of your hip and shoulder forward relative to your downhill foot and use your leg to keep this forward. That's what helps you keep this hip forward so that you have pressure on that ski as you change edge. That's the goal. We're going to do some drills to help you understand that better. There, we'll take a run on Wonderama.
Alrighty.
All right, we're going to make some turns. You're going to hold the poles in the same spot. And I want you to pay attention to this part, the uphill side of your pelvis. I want you all to put your hand there so you know what I'm talking about. All right, that's the uphill side. That as you change edge, that it doesn't do this. That this part stays forward relative to this part as your skis go like that. We have a tendency to, as we change edge, for this part to come forward. We want to keep this part forward. Keep the shoulder forward. Get the skis to their edge. So this part you're doing good. And what happens as you start to change edge, you do that. And I want that to stay here. This part of your body needs to stay facing that way, or this needs to stay ahead of your other side of your body. And you need to change edge with that. That's the initiation. Take that knee and drive it down the hill. That will allow you to keep this part of your pelvis forward. That goes, that doesn't. Oh, you open up the ankle again. Focus more on keeping this here. That doesn't move. Just move the knee. Move that knee. Yes. Now bring it back. Move that knee. And you feel in this situation, this is staying here, right? Edge and hold that hip forward. Yes, that's it. That's it. Do it again. Drive the knee down the hill. Drive the uphill knee down the hill. Now we're going to finish up with looking at how it's supposed to be done. And here you can see the uphill side of her body kept forward, keeping her hips facing down the hill towards the next gate. Still here, not dumping that hip, as we call it. Activity in that legs allows her to keep those pelvis pointed direction it needs to stay so she can stay in balance.